Sorry, what happened was, I just got my electricity power back, so I had to connect to my Wi-Fi. It suddenly crashed that live streaming over there just because I was switching through my internet. I'll make sure from tomorrow on I'll come live at from 6:30 so that it will be easy and there will be no more power loss. I hope you guys can hear me clearly now. So that if you guys can hear me clearly, I'll start with today's session. So today's session is basically about, as I said before, it's just about what all things you need in your laptop or in your personal computer before you start learning the full stack development course. Today's course will be just like installing the softwares and what all permissions do you need in order to install the software, because I'm an anonymous person and I'm teaching you guys to install few softwares, and you need to know which softwares and what are the purpose of those softwares before installing onto your personal computer. So without wasting any time, let's jump onto this and see the course content. So this is the so what I'm planning to do is every day I'll try to create a PowerPoint presentation. So just by looking at these slides, I can get to remember what all things I just want to convey and I don't miss out any other important stuff. The first thing is the contents part. From tomorrow on, let's go on with a proper contents list. But just for today's and yesterday's video, there is a lot more things to discuss. That's the reason I haven't typed any of the contents. So let's jump on to the next page. The first thing is you need to install the software in your computer. So what type of softwares do you need to install in your computer before we start developing any applications or websites? We need to know that we need an editor as in a software. We write our coding, we do the coding part, we write all the code in there, right? So we need an editor. Along with the editor, we also need a browser that will print out the outputs onto the screen. So these two are the main things that you need. Depending upon what you want to develop, for example, if you just want to do the front end, which I taught you yesterday, if you just want to do the front end, you don't need any services or any other additional things that that will be done using the backend things, right? You don't need the database services, you don't need any server for that. You just need to develop applications for client side, for which you just need a browser and also an editor to write a code. There are two types. It's like I'm also explaining you guys how it will be once you join in an organization. If you join a company, the laptop which they give or the personal computer that they provide you will be their own. Can you just give me a moment? I just want to check my mic. That's nice. I just wanted to check if the mic that I have connected is the right one, because I'm connecting three different things. So I just wanted to know if that's the right mic. So yes, the thing which I was speaking before is that the moment you join an organization, the organization provides with you with a laptop or a computer, right? They say that you need to install the softwares, but the chances of you installing softwares on your own is nearly 0%. The only reason is that they don't want you to be the source of the virus. They don't want you to cause any damage to the organization. So what they do is they have a separate department. So let's keep the office topic for later on. What if you want to download any software, install it onto your personal computer? The first thing we use is Google, right? If we Google the software that we want to download, just click the next button and finish. What if that's a paid software? Don't worry, we go and get the crack files on the internet, but I do not show you how to get the crack files on the internet. That's your job to do. But I'll show you the setup process, because that will be the same even if it's a crack file or just a normal file. Setup process will be the same. So I'll just explain with the normal setup process, and if you want to use the paid software, then you can find those links. But if there is any virus in your computer, in your personal computer, what will you do? You'll just back up your data, format the laptop or computer, and just install it all over again. It's so easy, right? But what if you be the main reason behind destroying your whole organization? That will be a major problem. So you'll not be the administrator over there. Administrator is nothing but your laptop will have a guest and an admin. These two are the main things, right? Two users. Guest will not have all the powers, but administrator will have all the powers. In your personal computer or your laptop, you are the administrator. So whatever you do, you will be responsible for that, because that's your own device. So let's go on to the next phase. What if you are installing in a company? In a company, what will happen is that before you start developing few applications or websites, what you need to do is you need to know what type of softwares you need to use in order to develop a website. That's the main basic things you need to understand. If you don't understand what softwares are needed for you, then how can you be a developer, right? You need to know depending upon what condition it is. If that's like, you need a software to write the code, you need a software to display the output, you need a software to perform operations, depending upon whatever application you're trying to develop. So for that, in order to install it onto the office computer, you need an administrator authorization. There will be a separate IT department in the company, and they will take your personal laptop or your computer that is being provided by the company. They'll take that, they do all the software installation part, and they give it to you. But the main thing you need to remember here is that they don't install the crack files, they purchase the license, because it's against their terms and conditions. The first thing you need to do is you need to mention all the softwares that you need before you run the application. They will have a list of softwares which they are being using for a longer period of time, and if your software is there in that list, then it's easy for you. Just go give them the list which you want to download, and they download it for you. But they might come to your place, or they might have a remote access like the TeamViewer or any other application. They will do the remote access and then perform operations, installation operations, and so on. Now that you know how you can install, see, the only reason you cannot install on your office computer is that because you log in as a guest, you'll not log in as administrator. But for your personal laptops, you log in as an administrator. That's the only reason you have all the rights onto your personal laptop, but you don't have any other rights to perform any operations onto the organization provided laptop. So you know this thing, right? The next thing you need to know is, now that I know I need to provide the list of softwares that I need, but you need to also know where you'll write the piece of code, because only if you write an input, then only you get the output. It's not a magic thing, right? Without providing input, you don't get the output. So if you want to write an input, write a piece of code, you need IDE. IDE is nothing but integrated development environment. So what is this integrated development environment? IDE is nothing but it is like an application that consists of the spot to write the input, and also provide functionalities and operations that helps to print out the output over there itself. So IDE is having a lot more powers. Like for example, it's like a Grammarly for your sentence completion, or like if you're writing an email and if you say thank you for your time, and then you get a sentence completion over there on Gmail. It's the same thing like that. if you want to write a piece of code, then if you just start by writing starting lines, it will help you. It will help you to complete the line. So you don't have to type everything in order to write the basic input code. So before starting the project, we need to know what software do we need to use in order to write the piece of code. So setting up an environment before starting a project, we'll call this our full stack development course as a project. Before starting our project, let's try in a organization way itself. It's like I'm giving administrator to install all the softwares that I need in order to start my journey of full stack development. So in our development course, we have front end, back end and database, all these three things together. So for front end, you need few services, and for back end, I'm sorry, can you guys hear me? Please do let me know if you can hear me, because I just got a can you give me a moment? I'll just confirm it with my friends that if they can hear me or not. You can hear me, right? Shrika, can you type yes if you can hear again? If you can't, then I mean, if the voice is alright, then it's okay. I mean, if you want me to increase the volume, then I can increase the volume as well. I just decrease the sensitivity of my mic so that okay, that's great. I'll start then. I'll continue with this one. Where was I? At the integrated development environment, right? So it's like I'm providing the administrator with all the softwares that I need. So you don't have to install it again in future, right? Let's install everything right now. Let's complete the installation process today, so that we don't have to wait for this in future. We don't have to remind about, oh my god, yes, I need to install this software as well. Let's don't get into that type of situation. So I hope you all are using your personal laptops. If not, then please try to just see the code see the video over here and try it out in future. So the first thing we need to see is the IDE. The types of IDE that are commonly used for web development, website development, full stack development, front end development, whatever it is. If it is related to web development, the most commonly used IDEs are Sublime Text, Brackets Editor, Atom Editor, Visual Studio Code, all these things, right? So let's start by installing one by one of these editors. All these editors does the same thing. They all have the same operations. They might vary in few features. That's the main reason why they are separate from each other. It can be either in the themes, or it can also be in the form of speed, processing, whatever it is. It varies from one IDE to another IDE. So among these softwares, you can see over here, Sublime Text, Brackets Editor, Atom Editor, Visual Studio Code. These four editors are free to use. It means you can download it without paying any services. So even if it's your office laptop, it will be free. You don't have to worry. Even if it's your personal laptop, you don't need to worry about the paid softwares as well. Whereas WebStorm IDE and Dreamweaver are the paid softwares. You need to pay a lot of money. So what we do is that we try to install all these things, and let's see one by one, so that if you want to go with Sublime Text, then you can start your project using Sublime Text. If you like the brackets, the look of brackets, let's go with brackets. If you're familiar with Atom, let's go with Atom. Same like that. Let's keep on doing this. It's up to you what you want to use. But in this course, I will be using WebStorm IDE, even if it is a paid version. What we know that we can get a crack file, but still I'll use the limited time 30 days version, and let's try to download it 3 times. I already tried it and it's working, so I'll download it 3 times so that by the end of 3 months, it's our primary target that by the end of 3 months we'll become a full stack developer. Let's hope it becomes a 4 months so that we'll download it 4 times and try to do the programming part every month. Let's try to download it. So first thing is Sublime Text. Okay, it's already been covered that I will be using WebStorm IDE in this course. Let's jump on to the next part. Okay, before doing that, there will be a lot of these things, right? Why not Notepad or Notepad plus plus? This is the main question that is being asked to me. This is the main reason why I said I'll be preparing the PowerPoint slides so that I don't, jump between these two things. It's like Notepad, it's just a simple comparison. Notepad and Notepad plus plus are like Free Fire game, whereas the other editors that I mentioned before are like PUBG. So if you don't like this comparison, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but it's true, right? Notepad and Notepad plus plus, these two things are good to read. You can read it properly, but the problem over here is that you can just read them properly. It will not help you to autocomplete. What if the code which you're trying to type is like 5 lines of code? It's very hard for you to remember each and every keyword in that, right? Rather, what if you type a single syntax? Syntax is nothing but the code which you write. So what if you just write one word and the editor helps you to complete that whole 5 lines of code? It will be awesome, right? It will be amazing. It will save your time. Rather than writing the whole thing, it will actually help you to do this one. So that's what I'm saying. Notepad, Notepad plus plus, you can use them, but I don't use them because I don't want to take a lot of time just typing the whole code. Rather, if my editor helps me to do the same job faster, then that will be great, right? I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but still, that's the truth. Next, let's try to install the Sublime Text Editor. So let's just search for Sublime Text. You get a Sublime Text Editor. See, it's up to you. See for the Windows, and if you want to go with the others, then you'll find out others as well. Let's click on the downloads for Windows. We get a Sublime Text Editor download .exe file. So Sublime Text Editor looks like this. So what is this? If you just open, what do we say, Notepad. If I just open a Notepad and write something like, so if there is, it's saying like if, try, raise, right? If I try to write try, I'm sorry, the problem is that my internet just went off again. My current is, there's a problem in our locality with this power, so let's just hope it comes back again. Until then, if there is any problem, any sort of problem with the video being rendered, I'm sorry for that. It's just because the power has been gone. So let's try to do it again. We were at this one, the comparison, right? If you can see that there is a color difference over there. There is some pink in color, some are green in color, white in color, blue in color. But if you write here, there is no color pattern at all. Everything looks the same. Even if I type in the jobless developer, there is no difference between the try and jobless developer. Even if it's one is a keyword and other is the name of our channel, but still there is no difference at all, right? So the editors that I said, which are like the PUBG, have an advanced features that helps to. On the left side you can see that the folder structure has been there. So if you want to open anything on any of these things, rather than you can directly go over here, search through this, browse it. So let's, thanks for the patience guys, much appreciated. So let's continue, let's keep continuing. So this is how the Sublime text looks. It should have a .html, whereas if it is a CSS it should have .css, and so on, right? That's how we do that. And yes, let's go and install the other software. Now that you know how to install the Sublime text, it's the same thing for the brackets editor as well. Let's go and look for the brackets editor. It's the same. Search for brackets editor, brackets.io. You see, there is very less difference. You have a folder structure over here, you have this, the place where you can write the code, and you can see on the right side you're having functionalities, whereas for the Sublime text you have on the top, and so on. It's the same thing, but the appearance, the UI is a bit different. It varies from one IDE to another IDE. That's for sure though. So the brackets IDE you can download from brackets.io. Let's go with the Atom editor. Installing a software using Google is very easy, just that writing the code is very hard for us, that's for sure. But once you know about these things, so it's like I have already been installed this one, so I'll pause this one. Let's see this is Atom setup. I run as an administrator, and it will keep on installing. It's nothing but just next and finish. It's just as same as that of what we did. Atom is having a nice loading screen kind of stuff. So depending upon the progress, see the Atom editor which they developed using the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all these things, right? You can see the wonders that you can create just by learning this web development course. So all these things like the CSS animations, moving from one place to another, you can create the animations by yourself, because once we go further you can see that you can create animations by yourself. That's an awesome way to look at that one. See, the editor is different over here. It might be the color combination, it can be anything. This is the project folder space, this is the place where we write the code. So same goes with the, now you know about the Atom. Let's install the brackets editor, and see, nothing, just add next, install, as simple as it is. It's asking for administrator access. I gave the administrator access because sometimes when you run an application you need an administrator access, just so that if you provide the access then only it can give you out the proper output, or else every time you run the application you need to run it as an administrator if you don't provide the administrator access. That's the main thing you need to know. So next, now that you know how to install the brackets, and it looks almost like this over here, there is no difference at all. So let's go to the next point. It's a Visual Studio Code which is free to download as well. So you try to do this one, and if you face any problem while installing Visual Studio Code, then tomorrow when I go live I'll show you how to, sorry PUBG. Okay, tomorrow I'll show you how to install the Visual Studio Code, and as we'll be developing our applications using WebStorm IDE, I go by downloading this WebStorm IDE, and let's see, depending upon this one, let's go with this one for now. So it's saying finish, and you know they're saying that it's a 30-day free trial. Let's download the WebStorm IDE. If you want to look at brackets and the brackets IDE, see, it looks just like the way it has been mentioned over there. The folder structure, this is where you write the code, and so on. So WebStorm IDE, installing the WebStorm IDE is the same. The only thing is that it's a paid IDE version, but here we are trying to install it for free. That is like just 30-day trial. And I hope you guys follow up by installing the WebStorm IDE so that we both stay on the same page. I just want we both. I'm just thinking as if I'm speaking to a single person, not to all my viewers. I'm speaking to each of you guys individually. So if I say we both, it means you and me. Let's work together and make sure we both are working together with same software, same versions, so that if you encounter any problem, it means that I have already been encountered the same problem, and we'll also get to solve all these things together, right? That's an easy way. That's the best way which I feel learning could help you improve your programming concepts. So it's just like next, 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 install. So as simple as it is, but the more you might be asking me, when there are a lot of free services available over here, why are you downloading and installing this WebStorm, which is a paid version? Just imagine, it's a paid version. There is a reason for being a paid version, and there is a reason for being a free version. The services, obviously the services, and also the way you can use the application is really amazing. If you look at the graphics wise, for example, if you are playing two different games, you obviously go with that game which provides good graphics. At the same time, it's smooth as compared to the game which is having less graphics, right? You want to go with something that's interesting, that grabs you. For me, WebStorm grabbed my attention, so I feel WebStorm is a bit better. And once this is done, with this we are done with the front end installation part. But we also know that, let's go back here, we also know that we'll be working on backend as well, and on our backend we are learning Node.js, Express.js. So in order to install the Node.js, you need to download the Node.js version, right? So let's go and search for Node.js, nodejs.org. Download the LTS version which is over here. The reason I'm saying LTS version, because it is a stable version, it's working properly. But this version which is having current is not a stable version. It's working, I can guarantee that that's working, but the thing is that it's not stable. If there is any kind of errors, then it means that those bugs are being worked on currently. So it's better if you download the latest stable version and install it normally. And then you need to check if you have installed the node properly, right? How can you check if you have installed a software properly? Just by opening the application. So here what I do is I go with the command prompt. In command prompt, what I do is I type for node space -v, so that I get a version over here, a version telling me that, see, you have successfully installed node and your node version is 12.14.0. so it means that my node has been installed successfully. Now the next step is been completed. Yes, the next step has been completed. After this, there is something called live server. Just so that I can give you a small glance, it's like a trailer for a movie. Let me explain you what a live server is. Whenever you try to create an application, whenever you try to create a if you are trying to create a website, what you do is, whenever you try to write a piece of code, you save it, you open the browser, you refresh it again in order to get the output. Every time you save it, you need to go back to the browser and refresh it to look at the changes, what changes have been done. In order to get that, you do this all the time. But live server, what it will do is, whenever you save the code, it will automatically refresh the browser for you. It's like an easy tool for lazy people like us. I'm too lazy to even do all these things, but but it's easy once you know that there are shortcuts. As soon as you save, there is a refresh thing going on in the browser. That's amazing, right? You don't have to do that again and again. So yes, how to install the live server? Let's do with the command prompt itself. So there, it's like there is a command in order to install the live server. What it is, it's like npm. Npm is nothing but node package manager, and this node package manager will work just if you have node. If you don't have node installed it prior, what it will display is that it will display node as not being recognized. It will say that it's some random word, so it has not been recognized properly, and you get some more warnings along with that. So now what we do is, now that we have a node, we'll say npm space install space -g, stating that I want to install this globally. And which one you want to install? Live server. And once you do that, you can see that it's downloading and installing it by itself. Now you know, by this step you have successfully downloaded and installed all the softwares that you need to develop a website. Front end development, back end development, database connectivity, all these things have been done. Database connectivity, it's a last thing, last resort, so let's keep that aside. With By installing this live server, you have installed all the things that we need in order to develop front end and back end services. Just keep that in mind. Now that you know how to download and install the softwares, you have downloaded and installed all the softwares, the next thing is, I want to provide you guys with the code. It's like, for example, see, if I'm trying to write a HTML file document for example, I'm teaching you headings concept in HTML, or else how to display image onto the screen, if there is a concept like that. And if I'm saying you to create a file, do this thing, on and on. So it takes time for you to create a file, rename the titles or whatever it is. You have to do that process for each and every concept that I teach you. But instead, if I provide with the starter files, if I say that I have already created a folder structure for you, you just need to open the same file that I'm opening in my laptop while I'm doing the live sessions. Open the same file and work along with me. It's more easy, right? We both will be staying on the same page with the browser and also with the files. You don't have to create the files on your own. It's very simple and easy to do this in that way. It's like I'm providing you with the study guide. I'm saying that in your examinations, whatever questions are there, it will be coming from this book itself. So whatever topics that I'm going to teach over here are like the main examination topics that you need to learn. The only thing is, you need to learn these concepts. Do not by heart, do not mug up these concepts. Just understand it. And where you can find this source code or the files, so it's that you need to go to my GitHub repository. You don't need to have a GitHub account for this, so you just go to my GitHub. If this is the URL, github.com/siddhartha-b. In this, if you click on the repositories, so in future, after I go live, I'm done with the live, what I do is I'll provide this link in the description, so you don't need to type that one as well, because if there is any mistake in any type of character, then you don't go to my page. So in this, there is something called as a HTML5 course master. So go over there and you can see a folder structure over here. See, it's saying that HTML starter files. So what do you mean by HTML starter files? Let me zoom that more. Yes, you know that it's showing HTML starter files, and if you open that files, you can see that the whole website has been arranged in the chapter wise order. It's saying that the first topic is nothing but the HTML headings concept. The second topic is nothing but HTML paragraph concept. So it's like all the files are arranged in order, and whenever I try to open this file, for example, if I say let's all work together on HTML headings, click on that one, and you can see that the code is already been typed over there. You just need to fill the gaps over here. I provided the contents over here, the comments over here, stating that in this place between these two tags you need to write the HTML headings, which are from H1 to H6. We'll discuss about these things in detail later on, which is nothing but tomorrow. Let's discuss about this in detail, but just remember that all these things, all the piece of code, everything has been arranged in a sequence way. 25 files, so every 10 topics we'll try to create a website. So there'll be a food website, online job application website, and a company website. So you have 3 projects over there, but the thing is, it's empty. It's not filled with any code. We are going to write everything from the scratch. The only moment you start doing the development from the scratch, then only you will understand how to do that in real life. If you just copy my code, then what's there in it for you to learn, right? You just need to go along with the flow. I will teach as slowly as I can, so it will be easy for you to understand each and every steps. It's just about installation software, so that's the reason I'm going faster today. But from tomorrow I will explain like 3 to 4 concepts a day, so that it will not be much of a burden as well. So it's like, if it is a 4 concepts a day, within 3 days we'll develop one food website. After 3 more days we'll go with online job application website. 3 more days, it's like in just 2 weeks you will have 3 projects with you, along with all HTML topics covered. So it's like in just half a month you'll be good with all the topics. So how to download this? Keeping all these things aside, let's do that when we learn the course, right? It will be an interesting stop if you all learn together. And regarding the Telegram group and all, let's make sure we get that thing done by today. And yes, so in order to download this one, there is something called as code download. Click that one, click on download zip, and just open it. Please don't call me sir, call me Sid. I'll always be happy to solve your queries. Call me Sid. Software, what is the software? Which software are you talking about? Can I know which software you're talking about? It's like the editors. Editor is nothing but the tools which we... Okay, see, this is the folder structure which we get. So you get this one, and what we do is, I want you guys to create something. Can I get back to you again regarding the software? I will just complete this one and I'll do that one. So now that you have a source code with you, you have few more things, small modifications, then I'll show you how to do that. So let's do that. So files naming style. Yes, let me explain you about the file naming style. The same thing that you saw over here, right? If you open this one, the files, the naming style is not like 1.html, 2.html, 3.html. That's very bad way to write a piece of code. If you write 1.html, who will understand what that is? You will not ever understand what that file is. But if I mention that it's HTML headings, you will clearly know that. On the first topic was HTML headings, next was HTML paragraph tags, span tag, HTML text formatting, what is a list, images, tables. So this is what your naming convention to be. You should name in such a way that if there is any other person looking at your your file, he should understand that, okay, this first file is about HTML headings tag. That's nice. So I know that what this file is about. So this is how you should start naming it. So try to name these things, guys. Name it in a proper way so that no one else will get confused by that. The second thing is, where do you want to place these files? I often suggest you guys to place it in a D drive. The main reason I'm asking you guys to place it in a D drive is because if at all there is any problem in your computer, and if you want to format your computer, you know that your C drive will be gone, right? Don't be like me. see, I have downloaded, I extracted the files and it's in downloads folder. And if I format my computer, my downloads folder will also be formatted, by which it will be a waste move for me to install my, to put my files in the C drive. Rather, what I do is I'll cut this file, I'll go to my D drive, create something called new folder, full stack development underscore live. So if it's like full stack development underscore live, or it's up to you which folder you want to create in, paste it over there, and that's it. The main reason why I'm saying this is that, see, it's like HTML5 course master, right? What we'll do, there is, okay, well, it's saying HTML5 starter files. Let's cut this one, go back, paste it over here, delete it, right click, new. See the why I'm let me show you why I'm doing this. I'll create a file and folder for HTML, put that over there. I'll create a new folder, CSS, so all these things I'm saying, what I'm saying is that create a separate folder for HTML, separate folder for CSS, separate folder for JavaScript, and try to extract the files over there. So when I open this HTML file, you can see there is a HTML starter files, and directly I can load this thing into my, what do we say, in that IDE. And once we know where to place the files, there is something called starter files and completed files. Yes, so let me explain you guys what it is about. Let me copy it and let me try to paste it over here itself, and rename this file as HTML starter files and HTML completed files. What's the difference between these two things, right? I want this HTML starter files to be as your backup file. What if you try to write a piece of code and you try to mess up the whole code and you don't get to download it again? So you don't have to go back to my GitHub account, download everything, extract it, and do all these things from the beginning, right? Rather, try to work on this completed files folder and keep the starter files as your backup. And if you mess up anywhere, then you already know that you have your backup ready with you. So whenever you mess it up, make sure you go back to your backup, copy that and put it in your completed files and start working again. It will not be a big mess, or if there is any problems, then just let me know. I'll help you out how to figure out the next step. Let's try to solve that problem together. It's easy, right? So next thing is, the third thing you need to understand is that how do I open this folder in my application in the IDE that I downloaded. So let's go with WebStorm, the one which we downloaded. So let's open the WebStorm. Oh yes, I just remembered that in WebStorm we need to restart the computer in order to make it work. So what I'll do is, I will try to load this folder onto the application that has been installed right now. As I said before, all the IDEs are same. So loading a folder over there is the same process, even if it's one IDE or other. Let's go with Atom, because that was working fine previously when we opened it. Right, that's great. So we'll say file, open folder. It's the same thing for WebStorm. File, open folder, this PC, in D drive there is something called full stack development live. In HTML we go with the completed files, select folder. That's amazing, right? It's as easy as it is. So you have everything over here. If you want to open this file, click on that one. You see the color difference that I mentioned over here, the color difference, right? So you get a color difference. If I copy the same code and if I open the notepad and paste it over there, everything was of black and white. There is no difference. Here you can at least know that the one with red color things are like the tags, and these are like the attributes associated with the tags, and what attribute element, everything will have a value. The value is having this color, so you have each and everything separated with a different color. So this color coding will only be possible with these kind of editors that we installed recently. And in WebStorm there are few things that we need to look for: how to change the font style, font size and theme. About this, let me go live tomorrow. Let me explain you guys what each and everything is, just because I need to restart my computer again in order to run that one. We'll resume this part tomorrow, but let's go on to the next part. Oh, that means it's done, sorry. So it means that this was the final thing, and let's go with this installation, this font styles, how to change the color combination or the theme. Let's do that tomorrow. I hope you guys had a good time knowing about what softwares we need in order to install the application, in order to do the web development process. So if you have any queries, then I'm more than happy. I'll just be here for 5 more minutes. If you don't have any queries, then that's good to go, because from tomorrow I guess a lot of people will have queries, because from tomorrow we'll do the programming concepts. We'll start with that one. So for today, I hope you guys understood the importance of IDE, the color combination, and regarding the outputs and inputs, don't worry about those things. They will be taught in future classes. We will go each and every concept in detail. Just follow along with me. Do not waste your time. Just practice whatever I'm teaching. That's it. That's enough for you to develop a website. And if you want to learn any advanced concepts, then you are free to do the Google search and you can implement those concepts as well. So if you have any doubts, then please ask me up. I don't mind staying here and solving your queries, but if you do have any queries, then I will be online for 5 more minutes, and then let me know. And thank you for attending today's session, guys. I hope you had fun. Please do follow up our Facebook page, our Instagram page. I hope you guys forwarded this channel to all your friends so that they could follow us live along with you guys, and they could learn full stack development. It's just 4 months, but make sure you go on with the proper dedication and full patience. It will happen, guys, for sure. If you have any doubts, then I'll just be here. Then please let me know. Thanks for attending today's session. Have a nice day, guys. Thanks for attending, guys. I'll be ending the live stream. It's been a wonderful time discussing about the software installation and all these things. Let's meet tomorrow and start the HTML concepts, hopefully, and also I'll try to explain how to install how to do the changes of font size, font color, font shape, or whatever it is. Let's do that tomorrow in WebStorm. Once I restart my laptop, we'll get to do that one. So thanks a lot for guys. Make sure you watch the video again. Give us a like if you really like this one, or dislike if you didn't like this video, because it will be feedback for me to improve myself. Thanks for attending today's live. It was amazing. Thanks for the amazing response as well. Let's meet tomorrow. Have a nice day, everyone.